Breaking news. Washington State, where we live, is not the same place as Washington, D.C.
Oh my God, can you believe that people actually get confused about this?
No, I can't. They clearly missed that day of 4th grade. Apparently it confuses people.
I think, again, I don't know if adults get confused, but I think kids probably do.
Okay.
Honestly, it is the biggest difference. It's 2,700 miles apart.
Yeah. Washington, D.C., D.C. being the District of Columbia,
East Coast.
East Coast. Washington State, West Coast.
You know what this makes me think of? We have a friend,
Okay.
Eddie.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about Eddie.
Eddie, who was living in Washington, D.C., happened, I'm looking right at you, Eddie, happened to walk from Washington, D.C. to Washington.
To Washington State. We gotta say it. We gotta say it.
He walked across the country.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He walked. He didn't jog. He didn't bike. He didn't do any of those. He didn't even
How
ride
long does that take?
It took him like 6 months.
That sounds like not fun.
Okay.
I just felt like running.
Okay,
So
let's talk about the differences between DC and Washington State.
Okay, so East Coast, West Coast. The thing that sticks out to me the most is the weather.
That's what sticks out to you?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking
Okay, well, hold up. That's what sticks out to you.
It's the coast.
The weather.
The different.
You know what sticks out to me?
The coasts.
One is a city, one is a state.
It's not even a city. Washington D.C. is a
It's
district.
like its own thing.
It's its own thing. Washington State has over 7 million people in it. The District of Columbia, D.C. has not even a million.
Okay, so population, number of people, that's a big difference.
They both have large pointy things that point towards the sky.
Like
a monument.
Okay, so
and the Space Needle.
You've got the Space Needle. Washington D.C. has the National Monument.
So that's similar.
That's similar. Okay.
Right. So it can be confusing.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
They both have white houses.
Okay. Well, we just have houses that are white. Washington D.C. has the White House.
So big deal. They're both houses that are white.
Okay. So I guess that could be a reason people get confused.
Right. So outside of the coasts. We both have pointy things that point to the sky.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay,
we both have
white some similarities.
We both have white houses.
Yeah.
We both have, let's say there's 700,000 people in the District of Columbia and 7 million people here. They both start with a 7.
Okay.
One of the most famous people from Washington State was in my fraternity, older than me, Joe McHale from The Soup.
You think he's one of the most famous people from Washington State?
Yeah, for me. He was in my I went. You know what are those with all the pictures in your fraternity?
A composite.
A composite picture. So you go to the composite picture. Usually there's athletes or nobodies the rest of us.
Yeah.
Ours said Joe McHale.
Oh, so I see. Okay, Joe McHale is from Washington State.
Say my name.
Joe McHale.
Holy mother of God!
Joe Biden lives in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So we both have Joes, just different Joes.
So, but that's similar.
Yeah,
but
so I guess you're right. The weather is probably the biggest difference.
Okay, so I have been to the East Coast in the summertime.
I've been to Washington, D.C. in August.
Okay, so explain to everybody, if you happen to be watching this from Washington State, what is the weather like on the East Coast in DC in the summertime?
It is so hot and so humid. It's so miserable you don't even want to be outside.
Okay.
That was literally the worst time to be touring Washington, D.C.
Was it like a school tour?
No. I went with an ex-boyfriend.
Was his name Joe?
No, it wasn't Joe.
So I remember when Ty went with his mom to Washington, D.C., I think in August.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
He said the same thing.
He said it was so miserable.
All he said is he kept on buying bottles of water and dumping them on his head.
You're right.
So
it's so hot.
In Washington State,
in August,
you don't have to do that.
No, it's 70 degrees, 75 degrees.
It could be 78.
Maybe. Mild.
Yeah.
Easy to be outside.
I think the bottom line is I hope everybody realizes that Washington State and Washington, D.C. are more similar than you might... No, they're not.
They're two different
places. They're totally different. And if you get confused about this, look at a map.
Yeah.
Think about the weather. Think about the famous Joes, the White Houses, the monuments.
The East Coast, the West Coast.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I know that Washington, D.C. has beautiful buildings and but we've got nature. We've got beautiful trees.
Bottom line, it's two different places, people.
Oh my gosh. If people get confused by this, you're definitely right. Go back to 4th grade. God.